Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. I'm sorry. Harvek just interrupted my brain. Welcome to It All Goes Back to Sonic. This is the 8th episode of our podcast in which we discuss the Sonic Archie comics. I am your host, David / MegaFire, and with me are my good buddies, Dorko for you, Bob Hood, and Harvek.
I'm a terror.
He is a terror. This week was pretty busy. We got a good chunk of stuff that we covered. Basically, we went through the Sonic Quest specials. Is a mini series, is 1 through 3. Sonic 42, Sonic Live special, and Sonic 43 and 44 in that order. Quite a lot of lore heavy stuff. I want to say, like, we're finally in the our stories have continuity timeline. I don't know, like, there's not as many, like, here's even Mike Gallagher was writer for the big Sonic Quest stuff, and that's like, you know, we've discussed him a bunch, and most of the times it was like, here's Mike Gallagher, time for the Saturday morning cartoon bits. And there were those, but, you know, it was relatively serious stories, and it's kind of interesting. It was cool. Like, people, they seem to be on the same page. Like, the writer's room seems to be driving towards a specific direction. So it's very interesting. That was my little introduction, my little 2 cents. How was it for you guys this week?
I was fucking busy. I worked. So I had a guy at my job who had to do like a mandatory 3-day leave because he's a department manager, blah, blah, blah. I worked for like straight 7 days. So
man was reading the Sonic comics.
Yeah,
on the line.
And more shit, I was reading the Sonic. But yeah, my energy was fucking gone. I did the best I could with these summaries, so hopefully they're not missing any important details, but yeah.
I tore a muscle in my foot.
Reading the Sonic comics.
Yes, yeah.
That sounds like we all had a shitty fucking
And when I went to turn the page one time, a scorpion stung my finger.
He has the physicals of all the classic Sonic comics?
Yeah, I just materialized them.
How about you, Dorko? How was your week?
I did a lot of procrastinating, and then I read the comics in about one night. So that
business as usual, I see.
See, I did it. I did it sooner than I usually did, but I was like still overwhelmed because they just gave me too much work.
Dorko W.
Is that a W? I don't know.
Before we go into the summary, just because I'm kind of curious, what do you guys think of this batch? I don't know. Like, I really like this set of comics. I always look forward to getting to Sonic Quest when I do my read-throughs, and you know, a lot of retrospective, introspective, like, points that we've had during the podcast where I'm kind of like reanalyzing my stance in a lot of these old comics where I thought, no, I like them all. Not really. That hasn't been the case. I've been probably one of the biggest critics on stuff, or at least vocally. But I've enjoyed. I want to say I enjoyed this batch. Like, overall, I think more high notes than anything else.
Yeah, I liked it. I liked our session just because of Quest. I did not like Live, and I'm not going to remember... I was so tired during my session, during my reading, that I'm not going to remember what happened for 42, 43, etc., the one-offs, until we get there, so I'll let you know about that.
I should reiterate that Live didn't fit into my statements previously, because Live is something else.
I mean, that's probably roughly how I felt, unless I'm forgetting something, is that it was mostly just like, oh, yeah, Sonic Quest, I'm having fun with this. And then the fun stopped.
I'm surprised. I mean, I guess I understand for 42, but 43 was, I don't know. I go on hard.
I'm something similar like that, but something took me completely off guard that I just kept thinking about the whole time I was reading the other comics, so I'll let you know when we get there, and it's such a me thing, but when you see it, you're going to question some stuff, and trust me on that.
I mean, we've already somehow connected the zone of silence to Turok, so it's going to take a lot to...
Shockingly enough, this is going to be the second time I'm going to mention something I never thought I would mention on the podcast.
I have a lot of screenshots. I have a pretty decent amount of notes this time. I tried not to go as crazy, but I have a lot of screenshots just because there's a lot of really cool moments that I liked. So I'm looking forward to that. And also, actually, I have something that like relates that I didn't think I would compare this to ever as well. So I am kind of excited to get to that. All right. So I guess let's get cracking. Sonic Quest, the Death Egg Saga, written by Mike. Like I said, the whole Death Egg Saga, the whole Quest series, written by Mike Gallagher with Manny Gallen doing the pencils and Spaz and Harvo doing the covers. All right, Bob, tell us about Sonic Quest. I guess we could just take it all as a whole before we go into the details.
Right. Issue 1, Quest 1. After being rescued from the Silent Zone, the King Acorn... The King Acorn...
The King of Acorns!
He's not adapting to the Freedom Fighters universe very well, as he is suffering from delusions and is turning into a Chaos Emerald. They discuss solutions, the Freedom Fighters, and believing that the rings are the key to the cure, the gang decides to split up towards the Lake of Rings and the Ring Grotto. Meanwhile, Robotnik's Snively in charge of rebuilding Robotropolis. While Robotnik goes to do something, Snively decides to be a fucker and instead try to take control of the whole place himself and turn it into his own little resort. Meanwhile, Tails gets sucked into a vacuum that's eating all the rings from the pond. Elsewhere, Sonic is abducted by roboticized Carl Condor. I don't remember if that guy was...
He's nothing.
Actually, in one of the... No.
He's
okay.
nothing. He nothing. Mike Gallagher back at it again, giving us a character who is nothing.
Because he was Sonic was talking about him like he was in some other issue, but I guess they would have specified if that was the case. Anyway, Robotnik arrives on his brand new Death Egg. He fires the SWAT bot that sucked up all the rings because he accidentally sucked up too much water and debris. And that's about the end of the first issue of Death Egg.
Okay, I guess we could go by issue.
Yeah, should we do like the whole? Because I think it would be a lot if we did like all.
You're right.
That's a lot for me to read and a lot for us to remember. So.
That's right. There is a lot. So I want to start us off with this first screenshot. A little context. We do get introduced with. Once again, everybody loves to write Sonic the biggest asshole ever. He just, right out the door, panel, Sonic is a dick. But it's against Geoffrey St. John, who's introduced to us. So, I mean, that's okay, I guess, but it's still not great. I love this panel. I love this joke. I'm sorry. It's a guilt. I know these he just makes fun of Geoffrey for being a skunk every time, but this is my favorite, where Joffrey's supposed to be like Jeffrey St. John. I'm so sorry, that was so American. He's supposed to be posted up as the king's bodyguard while they go out and try to find a way to fix him, and so Sally asks him to post up by the door, and he's like, I shall post myself at the front door. No one shall pass. My lips are sealed. Sonic coming at him. Could you seal off your stench too? And all there is just Sally going Sonic and ellipses. And I lost it for a solid minute. I don't know why. I've always skipped through these stupid jokes when I'm reading this comic. Just because, like, subconsciously, it's like, I don't find a lot of them funny. But this one, for some reason, I was reading, I was like, this is so funny to me. I just like the fact that they're all silhouettes and just Sonic.
It's just like one of those sitcoms that plays at night and it's like Sonic.
Exactly.
Audience canned laughter. Blah blah blah.
Oh, speaking of which, wait, we forgot to mention the fact that they saved the king last time. A few days ago, we were talking in a call.
Yeah,
we were like,
"Did we
ever talk about the fact we made so much fun of the last issue?"
I couldn't remember. I didn't go check. I was like, I feel like we probably did, but I couldn't tell you.
In my notes, I have one note on that episode. It's something about the fact that the king's body just keeps changing models. He's always off model. That's it. So I don't remember. But yeah, he's been saved.
So I know there's been the big debate about Sonic's arms and Sonic's green eyes and the black eyes. What do you guys think about Sonic's brown eyes in these issues?
Sonic eyes are brown?
Yeah.
I did not know.
Where? I didn't catch that.
They're brown in couple panels in this issue.
Can you share with the class?
No.
I mean, I see him in some of these panels now.
It would be page 9 is the first time I noticed it.
Oh, I gotta pull it up. No.
Yeah, those are brown eyes.
Brown-eyed Sonic.
He didn't have his cool green eyes yet, so they just, I don't know, they just trying to make it look nice.
But
like
they're
usual,
supposed
just
to.
plain black.
But they're supposed to be black. Yeah, I was gonna say. Wait, hold on. Is it page 9? You
And
said?
they are just black in some panels. This guy just decided to improvise.
On the close-ups, they're brown.
Oh, I should mention. Is this the first time, Dorko? Do you know if this is the first time we got Manny Gallen as artist?
That's a solid question. Give me a second.
I want to say yes.
I failed to mention page 9 in the issue numbers.
Right. I see it now. Oh, Sonic's got like a brown tint.
No, it's
to
not
the
the
eye,
it's
like
not the
that.
first time.
Yeah.
It's not the first time. I think he does quite a few of the the piece. Like this batch, I think he does almost all of them.
Also, unrelated, but also related because there's an advertisement in this particular issue I'm reading. I had a flashback to the Dan and Sprinklin's magic crystals.
Yes! Okay, that's something I want to say. Like, a lot of the fun that I have with reading some of these comics is the different scans I see of, like, old adverts from the 90s. And I'm just like... I was born in the 90s, but I never got to see these until, like, the early 2000s. But still, like, a lot of these products existed back then, too. I'm just like, the stupid sprinkles. I hated those. I didn't eat like sweets back when I was a kid, and I didn't like the sprinkles because they made the yogurt taste too sweet.
I'm eagerly awaiting to see if we get a Heinz green or purple ketchup ad.
We get Vine. I think Red Vine appears quite frequently. With the little the stupid like you can put the red vines around your face to make like mustache and stuff like that. Speaking of red vines, Snively's ass is fat as hell. Can we talk about that? Look at this man. Look at how much junk he has in his trunk.
Of all the things to talk about.
MegaFire, I hate to tell you this. That's just standard military pants.
No. That's his ass. Those are his hips. They do not lie.
Those are military pants, dude.
No, those I refuse to believe. You're gaslighting me.
I am not gaslighting it. I don't want to look shit up right now.
I know what military pants you're talking about. You're talking about like the pantaloons. That Snively has never worn those before. That's his regular uniform. Those are his hips. You can see the way they twist up the leg. I can break it down piece by piece. Look at his thigh. See, you can see the curve to the right, but then you can see like the.
I don't need the description of Snively's thighs.
This will all be in the show notes, by the way, fellas. You voice your. You know what? I'm gonna use the Spotify Q&A feature for the first time. Besides asking how you guys like the episode, I want everybody to voice their opinions. Is that his fat ass, or are those pantaloons?
I'm glad we're bringing up only the most serious of
No,
debates.
those are fat. Those are fat hips.
That's what I'm saying. Dorko, what do you think?
I don't want to think.
Me neither. They gave Robotnik fuzzy dice in this machine.
I really appreciate that.
Gotta have fuzzy dice.
And the 8-ball.
He's so menacing in this. Like, he's so cool. I love.
He's a bit of a spaz. That's his nickname, right?
Spaz, yeah. He's a
bit of a spaz Robotnik. I like him.
Oh. Yeah, I was gonna bring that up. I feel like Manny Gallen is like this really interesting mix of the Sonic SatAM, and I feel like I've made this comparison before for another artist. Maybe it was him, but it feels like this nice mix of like Spaz and like SatAM. Like it's kind of like there's some characters that look more like the cartoon, but like with their own original twist that like sort of Spaz did for the covers. They look for lack of a better way to describe it, they look high quality, like a triple A comic. I don't know if triple A exists in comics, but like it gives me like dang, this is like a Marvel comic at its peak vibes, or like, I mean, obviously this isn't like the peak, but like the art's all good. Like there's fine details in the backgrounds. There's details on each of the characters. I think it's cool. I don't know. The shading is on point. There's like dithering. Does dithering exist for traditional art, or is that just like a sprite art thing?
So, I feel the need to mention in this issue, we also get our first look at Sonic Live. And this will be a reoccurring thing in the comics we read until we get to Sonic Live.
Oh, like a preview.
Yeah. You had to mail order it and stuff.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And they really want you to buy Sonic Live, from what I've seen.
Sonic will come out of your goddamn TV and kill you. He'll snap your neck if you don't buy Sonic Live immediately.
And the horrible implications of Sonic Live Special Number 1 scares me. Does this imply they were thinking about doing a Sonic Live 2?
Spoilers, they never did, but maybe. I never even caught that.
You never know. Right? They be like one of those blurbs of like, write in if you want more Sonic Live.
I wanted to mention something about the content, the story of the comic. There was this cool thing that they pointed out where they like differentiated the fact that there's two ring lakes. Like there's the grotto, the one that you know from like the early comics, where they outside of their village, outside of Knothole, there's like that place that they used to grab rings from. That is the ring grotto. They called it the Lake of Rings before in other like older issues, but then they found another lake which they refer to as the Lake of Rings. That one is the one that is outside of other way around. Or no, yeah. That one is the one that's outside of Robotropolis, the Lake of Rings, I think. Yeah.
It's a little tough to keep track of.
Yeah, they reference the fact that like one of them was like screwed up because of the fight with Sonic, Super Sonic, and Hyper Knuckles, which did happen in this series, and they like kind of made a mention of it, but it kind of never got brought up again. So I think that's really cool. I don't know, I like that, and also the fact that they somehow downgraded the fact that Robotropolis was hit with quote unquote multiple bombings. You mean a nuclear explosion, guys?
Multiple nuclear explosions.
Yeah. Carl the Condor never appears again. I don't know if we have any Carl the Condor fans in the chat, but he's nobody. He comes from nothing and goes to nothing. That's all I have on this. I just...
He returns to dust.
He returns to dust. Strong start.
So, I don't know how I feel about the Death Egg being actually egg-shaped.
I mean, it was egg-shaped in the games.
No,
Sonic 3 and Knuckles.
Hmm?
Well, I think he means...
No, it was a perfect circle.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's just a sphere.
Perfect
like
Death Star.
Like the Death Star. Yeah.
But you know what? I got distracted from that because I want to go eat some Jimmy Dean now.
Gotta get the breakfast sandwiches.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I have some of those in my freezer.
Yeah. Remember, support United Cerebral Palsy with Jimmy Dean's. Also supported by Jughead.
Also support Kit Kat bars.
That's right.
I bring up these ads because the scan left in every single ad, and I really appreciate that.
And that's how you know it's a high quality scan. So, kids, if you get a scan from your local scan dealer and there's no ads, please do not consume the comic. It might be laced with malware.
No, we gotta modernize it and replace the ads with like ads for gacha games.
I can't imagine opening
let me
up
go in reverse.
Opening up a comic book and you see like some Frank Grand Order shit in the comic book for kids.
Use this promo code to get Sonic and Fire Emblem Heroes.
Oh god.
Yeah.
Okay, that'd be cool. That would get me to play that game.
Don't.
Okay, well.
All right. Anybody have any other thoughts on this issue?
It's certainly a setup.
Whoa.
All right. Huh?
How did Robotnik fuck up so bad with his SWAT bots? What happened to
What do you
them? Remember when they were competent?
Just like stormtroopers. Sometimes they're competent, and sometimes they're grossly inept.
No, yeah, pretty much. I think even in this batch, it's like sometimes Sonic just takes them out like super easily, and sometimes it's like, oh, they grab Sonic, and Sonic can't do anything for a second.
Oh no! Now there's 3 SWAT bots. I'm doomed now. One issue earlier. Hey, 10 SWAT bots. I got this.
Yeah. What are you gonna do?
It's a varying quality.
2 SWAT bots just fine, but 3, I don't know, man.
I'm gonna write in and complain about this.
That's right. Remember to send it to the PO box that they list at the end.
I'm also gonna ask for more Cal and Al.
Someone stop this.
Stop! You're gonna get what you wished for, and you're gonna hate it.
I'm just gonna keep this joke up till it happens.
Sonic Quest 2. Let's
Sonic Quest 2. I'll do it. On the Death Egg, Tails takes the robot that had his head smashed in by Robotnik, and because he's like hollow inside now, apparently, I don't know, and he uses him as a disguise to sneak around on board. Sonic, meanwhile, is playing possum under the talons of the Condor bot, and once he flies close enough to the Death Egg, Sonic gets up, knocks out Condor, and boards the Death Egg via the falling debris from all the water and stuff that was sucked up earlier. Then the Death Egg approaches the floating island. Knuckles tries to just fly up to it and fight it, like the chat he is, but he's blasted in the face by an eye laser. Then he teams up with the Chaotix to fight off some burrow bots that are after the Chaos Emeralds. Also, Archimedes is there, and he doesn't do anything. And then Robotnik gets really...
a drill.
Sure. I actually completely overlooked that. I was going to ask if they use his, like, fire breath attack ever again, but they did, so whatever. And then the issue ends with Robotnik getting very mad, and he crashes his Death Egg into Angel Island.
Yeah, in fact, I put together a little thing, because this special has pinups where they fuse together 2 pages to make a big, like, fight scene or whatever, and I've taken the liberty to put that together for y'all.
I didn't notice Archimedes because I was too distracted by everyone being off color, like the black Knuckles there.
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be because the Death Egg is casting a huge shadow.
Oh, maybe.
By the way, MegaFire, I believe you mean to say 2-page spread. Not
pinup? Is that no?
Pin-up.
I mean, it's kind of sexy. I don't know. It gets me. Seeing Knuckles punch through a burrow bot, seeing Mighty just slam him in the head. Oh. Every single person, all the Chaotix just have a one-liner spree, just gag after gag. Now, this is a thing that only the most diseased would notice, but in the very beginning, Robotnik calls Snively, and he's just like, how is the rebuilding of my Megapolis going? So, okay, now here's a couple things, and buckle up and get ready. The way it is spelled is Mega-Oopolis. So now I thought to myself, was this something like a typo? Like, were they trying to spell Megapolis, like, you know, the term for a multiple, like a spread of a metropolis that's spread out to an even larger degree? Or is this a reference to the upcoming Megapolis, which is a location in this world? Or is it just supposed to be Robotropolis, but he's just making a reference to how Robotropolis is a megapolis? Because he misspelled. If that's the case, then it's not spelled correctly, because it's not Megaopolis. It's supposed to be Megapolis without the O. It's Megapolis, not the Megapolis. So now it's either a typo or it's, I don't know. I went crazy. I sat there for a minute trying to be like, was this a hint at the upcoming fact that there's a new location coming up? I don't know. I was just stuck on it for literally 10 minutes.
They typed Hydrocity when they meant to type Hydrocity.
God damn
But yeah,
it.
I thought it was like I figured it was like a typo, but I guess it makes sense.
It's a typo. It's a typo. It has to be a typo.
Yeah, I think it's a typo.
Unless... No, it's a typo. Star Wars moment. I love that Tails literally is in the trash compactor of the Death Egg and also wears a stormtrooper, SWAT bot outfit to sneak around the the Death Egg. Big Star Wars moments here, in case that wasn't obvious.
I'm going to date this episode right now MegaFire just watched the Ahsoka trailer, and he's in a very good Star Wars.
Shut up! Don't help me.
They revealed Glup Shino. We were all very excited.
I posted a screenshot of the beginning of this comic. I will not elaborate. That's it. That's all. There's just this night of it's killing me.
Thinking of life.
Death Egg appears over a floating island. Like, got any games on your phone?
All right, going back to one image you posted. Someone really went in detail on Sally's ass. What the fuck, dude?
I didn't even notice that. Honestly, I was just so
it.
busy focusing on Boo Hoo Hoo and then like King Acorn single teardrop. Rotor's got like some piano hand fingers, dude. I bet that man can tread on guitar. I'm glad that you mentioned Knuckles flying up to fight the Death Egg in hand-to-hand combat, because I was thinking about like my initial reaction was like, how did he get up there? And then they have this nice panel where I bet the writer's room was like, we got to make sure that no angry fans write in and tell us that Knuckles can't fly, he only floats. But it's a good thing we have this explanation by the man himself. By getting up ahead of steam, jumping off the bank of the eternal river, and fanning out my dreadlocks, I can fly up and intercept it. He's still floating. He's just with grace, as Buzz Lightyear would say. Falling with style.
Knuckles going up.
Style.
Knuckles going up.
If my calculations are correct, I will not get punched in the fucking face.
Yeah, I'll get beamed in it instead.
Knuckles going up to fight the Death Egg is a very Mega Sex LR moment.
I like it. I love that. Knuckles is written well. I wanted to bring that up. I don't remember if it was this. This. I think it was the. No, I'll bring it up in the next issue because there's more content. But
yeah.
You mentioned that Archimedes didn't really have a moment, but like I want to bring up the one moment he had, and he gets instantly fucking owned. He's just like he goes religious man on them. He's like, it's like the Death Egg crashes into like the floating island, and it's about to like tip him over. The Chaotix just go into thinking emoji mode. I swear to God, they all just like, what happened to the why is the Death Egg crashing? What's gonna happen? They all literally just sit there just thinking about it. Archimedes like, no, I believe in the power of the Chaos Emerald. No man-made object can overcome its profound purity. Literally, like L after L after L, panel after panel after panel, how the island is losing in this tug of war with the Death Egg. I'm just like, damn, this man got blown the fuck out immediately.
A very small ant with a very large amount of copium.
And I'll top off my bits on the fact that Sally has a Keyblade drawn by Maria Sassoni from Dayton, Ohio, age 13. Good, thank you for that fan art of Sally with what looks like a Keyblade. It is not a Keyblade because this is 1996, so they did not exist. But we may be looking at the first ever Kingdom Hearts collaboration from DeviantArt.com.
I did want to say that I quite like the Death Egg's design in this, especially with the freaky, mean-looking eyes constantly in every panel it shows up.
Yeah, I kind of prefer that it's like a perfect sphere and not like the egg shape, but I still liked it. Yeah,
and I thought it was kind of amusing that like
neat.
while reading, I was like, man, it's giving me some like Majora's Mask Moon vibes, and then it crashed into the island. I was like, oh shit! No, it's really giving me the vibes.
I'm actually kind of curious. Majora's Mask came out when?
Wouldn't that have been like 2000 something?
2000. I can't believe they copied Archie comics.
Yeah, I'm sure that's likely.
Of course. I had the same thoughts though. I was like, especially the one I posted of like the Death Egg coming up over the clouds, go to games, like those eyes, like dead ass. I was just like, oh, it's Majora's Moon. Good comic. I like
Yeah.
this
Yeah, I like
issue. I think I will okay, critique. I will say that it's nice to see the Chaotix and Knuckles and everybody doing stuff, but it's also kind of weak because I feel like it was almost like shoehorned in.
Yeah, I had the same feeling actually.
I mean, it was fine because it was like one of those like it's fun to look at this, and none of this is inherently like unappealing to me, but it's at the same time I'm like, I wish Knuckles was on the Death Egg with the rest, and then the Chaotix could have their like time, fighting the Burrobots, like, because Sonic 3 and Knuckles, he was one of the main characters in that game, this is kind of loosely an adaptation. I mean,
What's kind of weird actually, because
yeah.
like tying this in with the next issue, it's like it was kind of giving vibes of like Sonic 3 and Knuckles, but then the next issue it starts giving vibes of the end of Sonic 2 instead.
It's a really weird way they did it. I don't know, like a little bit of a thing I wanted to bring up was I wanted to actually play this interview here, but maybe a little later, but Dave Manick had an interview at a con, and he was just talking about the process, and there was just one bit that I wanted to mention which kind of relates to this, where he says, like the writers and the artists didn't have direct communication with Sega, obviously, but most of the communication actually happened in the executive level, like the executive executive editor or something, like the editor in chief and the managing editor, like those two would have more of communication with Sega, and like the way that they did stuff, Mike Gallagher would do storyboards, so he wouldn't just write a script and send it off, he would write a storyboard. In other words, he would have little art doodles go along with the script, so it was not just like it wouldn't be left for the artist to have to redo stuff later if they wanted to take stuff out of the script, or like they wouldn't have to do extra work. So it's really interesting because Mike Gallagher did work on this one, and I know that in the past we've discussed how there were a lot of complaints coming out from the teams from this point and in the future where there wasn't communication with Sega, like adequate communication, so it led to a lot of mistakes, especially for like game adaptations like these. And it's kind of interesting to see that because it's like somebody at Sega approved this, so kind of wonder why they did it like this weird amalgamation of Sonic 3 and 2, and kind of they like almost shoehorned in the Knuckles portion, and it was like you could have had more with that. Like, I don't know, it's still good, it's just you bring up a very good point where it's like, what, suddenly it turns into Sonic 2. But yeah, little peek behind the curtain. I'm probably gonna bring that interview up again at some point because I think it's interesting. I feel like we give it a watch. It's a very quick one. It's like 10 minutes, not even 8 minutes. I'll link it then. But yeah, Dave Manick, one of the original artist for the Sonic comics. That's all I had for this issue myself. Anybody else have any thoughts?
No, I'm good.
I mean, I guess just that I did really like the Robotnik in this, and like the moment he's just like, I'm just gonna crash it into the island.
Yeah, man's taking so many L's. He's just like, you know what? Everybody perishes. I don't care. I'm taking you all out.
I'm just gonna shoot a missile at Station Square. Fuck this.
Yeah.
Very, very much so. Yep.
But yeah, I liked it. I don't have much else to say about it, but I liked it.
Yeah.
Good.
But issue 3 is where it gets really good, I think, if we're all ready to get into that.
Yeah.
Let's get it.
So Sonic makes his way to Robotnik, who was already prepared for an ambush. He is guarded by a thick glass wall and traps Sonic in a room with poison gas. Tails uses his SWAT-bot suit to crash through the Death Egg's eye to get to Robotnik, shoot lasers at him, and damaging the Death Egg and freeing Sonic. And then suddenly, Silver Sonic appears, the boss from the end of Sonic the Hedgehog 2, the one right before the big Death Egg robot. and also he's huge now, and he looks cool. The battle ensues, and Sonic takes victory using a severed power cable to Silver Sonic's foot. Robotnik puts on his new battle armor and battles Sonic, who's using the Silver Sonic as his own suit of armor. It's a big mech fight. It's very cool. Sonic is winning the fight, but he and Tails have no choice but to let him escape so that they can get out of the exploding Death Egg in time. They arrive on land with the stolen rings that they were after this whole time. And then Robotnik arrives back at his home, only to find that his home has been remade to Snively's personal resort, leaving the latter in big trouble. Hilarity ensues. The end.
I'm just gonna link the moment that Bob mentioned in the beginning, where Sonic gets trapped in the glass chamber. So what you're telling me is Robotnik is trapped Sonic in a glass container, and he's gonna launch him into space. Wait, no, wrong Sonic game. Sorry, my bad. But it's okay because Tails appears in a mech and he saves Sonic. He avenges Sonic. Oh wait, shit! Sorry, no, wrong game again. My bad. He appears in a suit of a swap bot and he saves Sonic. That's right. Yeah.
Is this what
I'm starting to see a trend.
Is this what people mean by the Sonic cycle?
This is. It's true, dude. Sonic Quest spawned every other Sonic game. Let's go. This is it. It all goes back to Sonic Quest. Majora's Mask, Sonic Adventure 2.
Also, my cat is at my door and he won't stop meowing. Can I go let him in? Don't stop recording or anything.
Your cat should join us. Yes, your cat should join the podcast.
It's cat time.
This is where I wanted to bring up the bit about, not a bit, but I wanted to mention that I like this Knuckles. Again, like I mentioned in the previous, like the Knuckles and the Chaotix are kind of shoehorned into these issues, but a lot of the lines and a lot of like the way that Knuckles does stuff in this, it feels kind of like more Guardian-esque. You know, he prioritizes the island. He prioritizes the Master Emerald, and by extension his friends, but he's got more of that like stoicness to him. I feel like when he's talking, literally like 2 or 3 pages of Knuckles content, he feels more like a Knuckles than Ken Penders's 20-page monologues that just don't feel like a Knuckles monologue. They're just kind of nothing. I mean, he's got cheesy one-liners, so that's, a little bit of the Mike Gallagher flair, but that's fine. Did anybody else get this, or am I just insane? Am I just like reaching? Because I feel like the Knuckles in this was a lot more Knuckles that we know today than we've had yet.
I didn't really notice with anything with Knuckles specifically, except it's like I'm trying to be open-minded, but like I will say so far I'm kind of a certified Ken Penders hater, so like to me it's just like, oh, we get to see Knuckles written by someone who's not Penders, so it's nice. Yeah, like that's just kind of my takeaway at the moment.
My biggest takeaway is that I really like the Sonic robot in this issue. That's about
it. Anyway, Knuckles, I don't know him, but anyway, cool robots.
But yeah, I think I get what you mean. It's just that I missed like 5 seconds of what you're talking about because I had to get my cat.
No, yeah. I mean, you didn't miss much. I'm literally just saying that, like, I feel like Mike Gallagher wrote Knuckles well. Like, I think he had only like 2 pages of dialogue, and it's like it was already more Knuckles like the Knuckles we know today, as close as we can, for that time. That like he was more Guardian-esque, more like stoic and some stuff. Like he prioritized the island over anything else, you know what I mean? Like he was more grounded, I guess, with the occasional cheesy one-liners and stuff. But I feel like I'm the only one that's like reaching for the straws here for that stuff. But I did want to, speaking of cool robots, I wanted to also give you guys the spread of the 2-pager from this issue, which is really cool. And also it's Robotnik is in his exoskeleton, that robot suit he's got on, fighting the Silver Sonic, and it's just like they make a bunch of Hulk and Thing references because they got big hands.
You know what they could have done here, and I know they probably won it. Robotnik should have been in the Death Egg robot. They're on the Death Egg. Come on.
They might as well have done that so that he has like a big robot to match the big Sonic robot. But I still thought this was cool, though.
You got a big fist to match the big Sonic robot.
It's like I feel like this is like that's a fair point, but with my perspective of right now, I kind of appreciate seeing this fucked up suit instead. And partially because with recent Sonic games, I've seen the Death Egg robot too many times.
Oh, I know. The Death Egg robot's just like a go-to thing now. It's replaced the Egg Walker or whatever that was.
I think seeing original stuff, even if it doesn't always land,
Yeah.
is better.
Modern Sonic be like,
melding. Sorry, go ahead.
Modern Sonic be like, Sonic seems to be coming at me again. I know. I'll try the Death Egg robot. That hasn't failed me yet. Curses!
It's just there's something about like, here's this completely new thing in this, like, here's the game. You know, this is supposed to be the game adaptation, but we added something original. Where it's like sometimes you get like stuff that's like, well, I feel like they were just trying to do something and they didn't know what the hell they were doing because they just kind of were left in the water. But like in this instance, it's like, this is cool. I like this exoskeleton. It's neat. Like seeing Robotnik just like put on a thing that makes him strong and he just fist fights Sonic. I think that's sick. I think it's cool. I think it works. It's good. This is the stuff that made me like really into this comic, is seeing the stuff. I can play the games. I have the games, but this is like, you know, a different experience. I like it when they stick to game stuff and like branch off of it. That's where I think the comic does the best in these early issues, which doesn't happen as often as I would have liked it.
On a somewhat related note, like just the fact that like Sonic, like, I don't get the logistics, but the fact that he gets into Silver Sonic and starts controlling it, it's like, that's like really cool and like, again, like unique. Where like this is kind of like way back when it's like, oh, let's get roboticized on purpose to become stronger, and then now it's like Sonic becoming
Get in the robot, Sonic.
Yeah, now he's like becoming like a freaking like Gundam pilot or something. It's like becoming a mecha anime for a hot minute here. I was like,
get in the robot, Sonic.
Yeah. This is not something.
Sally is sitting there with like freaking with her arms crossed over her eyes.
This is not something I expected to see in a Sonic story, but it's kind of cool.
I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah,
I actually had I had that exact thought in my head. I was like, oh, you know what? They could have totally just done another like Sonic just runs around and, you know, spin dashes into Robotnik and wins, but they didn't, and that's awesome. That's so cool to me. I like that a lot. You're right.
Yeah.
That's all I had for this one. Yeah. So I mean, I feel like we don't need to really do a too in depth of like an overview, because I feel like we all kind of voiced what we thought. So anybody have any like final thoughts before we move on to Sonic 42?
I'm good.
Okay, Bob. And we can always jump back if we need to. So if you think
True.
All right, go ahead. Bob.
There ain't no
42.
rules around these parts. All right,
That's right. We just
42.
have a conversation.
Okay, all that work to get those rings and it didn't do any good. Sonic wants a Chaos Emerald from Knuckles to for King Acorn's condition, and he said no. So instead, they decided that they need a crown. A spy working for the Freedom Fighters turns out to be a double agent. So a big fight between the gang and
Excuse
SWAT
me,
boss
he has
breaks
a
out.
name. Snoop Doggy Dog.
Sleuth.
Sleuth the fuck. Sleuth Dog.
Snoop, how
Doggy
could
Dog.
you? So Knuckles swoops in to help because he had a change of heart, and he actually does offer an emerald to help the king. But the emerald only makes the condition worse, and they're barely able to reverse it, blah, blah, blah. Sonic uses a ring to try to magically learn the location of the aforementioned crown that will make him better. It doesn't. Instead, he learns the king's royal sword will lead him to the crown, and Knuckles vows to help find the sword. I
Starting
guess
Knuckles
the Knuckles...
Quest.
I guess I'll also read the Knuckles quest because it kind of ties into this, and it's
Yeah,
not
you
really
should.
like a side story. Knuckles and Tails sail to Down Under to meet up with Athair, the echidna. And then they wind up in some space illusion to see images of a bunch of different people, and then Knuckles decides, oh, I'm onto something, I need to find these people, and then he decides to go on a search alone. The end. That's 42.
Let's start with this. What the fuck is going on with Sally's body?
Yeah.
Spaz, what are you doing? To point out, sorry, Spaz did the art for the cover of this, of course, and Ken Taylor did the script for the first story. In every kingdom there must be a little chaos, and then Ken Penders and Kent Taylor did Knuckles' Quest, which is the back half story. Art Maloney did the art for the first story and the second story as well.
Come on, MegaFire, you just got to be a little more flexible.
That is not flexibility. She is literally, okay, you do this right now. You will snap your back and your neck. Both. Well, there's no way.
The quote just went over his head. I'm so sad. I was quoting The Incredibles, but all right. I'm
not a nerd.
What?
You don't have to lie.
I don't know anything about Marvel. That was literally my introduction to the first episode. I was like, I don't know shit about comic book shit. The only comic I have is Sonic.
Did you just say you don't know anything about Marvel when he quoted The Incredibles?
Oh.
Famous Marvel comic, The Incredibles.
In my mind, I thought I heard the Fantastic Four. I don't know how.
All right, I take it back. You're not a nerd.
I remember when Bob Incredible got vaporized by Thanos.
Yeah, I did really like that issue where
I fucked myself. I'm sorry.
Where Elastigirl had to get forced married to the Submariner. Not very good, you know.
Somebody got that, not me.
All right, I'll make it easier. Remember when Dash and Spider-Man teamed up to fight Doctor Doom from stealing the cakes?
Stop. That's nothing. I hate you.
I loved it when Violet joined the Champions.
I kind of want to. I know you guys didn't. I know a few of us mentioned they didn't really care for these ones, but I really liked the beginning of this, like the very first page of the comic. Kind of want to read it out just because I think it's neat. It's like the preface. So tyranny, like a dark cloud, it shadows a land, causing all the valiant to rebel, creating war. War! Its soldiers are often called freedom fighters, who are sometimes driven to desperate acts, even against those who have attempted neutrality. Neutrality! A position in war the fabled floating island has been unable to maintain as its natives look for hope from its guardian. Guardian, the one being they depend on to protect them from the desperate acts of those in search of freedom and their war's invasion. Invasion. Something Knuckles the Echidna never thought he would have to contend with from the likes of Sonic the Hedgehog. Okay, first off, this is very cool. Second off, how? Not Sonic has invaded your island like 30 times. Of course he thought of that.
But MegaFire, war never changes.
Yes, the meme is. I was tempted to do that, but I actually, unironically, okay, it's really the way they wrote it is really cool. And I really like the way they framed it. I don't read comics often, but this is a really neat. I think it's really neat.
I'm gonna drop $1,000 on Cameo to have Ron Perlman read this out.
I'm gonna link the whole page, not here, but like specifically in the show notes. I mean,
none of this is good, Vector. That's why it's called war. Let's drop on a Sonic Forces quote here.
I think my favorite meme that came out of that game was it was Knuckles doing that line, but he was talking about Bowser or something. So it was like something Bowser face. Odyssey had just came out.
I don't remember that.
I don't know if I can find it again. It was so long ago. But it was like Odyssey just came out too, and anytime they mentioned Bowser, his face was always just right next to his name.
I feel like I can imagine something in my mind's eye, but I don't think it's exactly what you're thinking of.
You go ahead and talk. I'll see if I can find it.
Okay, so I did want to bring something up, and the fact that literally, Bob mentioned that Sonic's trying to get a Chaos Emerald. No, Sonic's not trying to get a Chaos Emerald from Knuckles. Sonic is being an asshole again, just literally beating up on Knuckles for his Chaos Emerald without explaining anything. So you know what? You don't get a Chaos Emerald, you child. He literally comes up and he starts fighting Knuckles. Like, the first is they're fighting, and Knuckles is like, what do you want? He didn't even tell him what he wanted. He just come out fist fight. I would believe it, honestly. That's how they fight every time. I hate it. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. Why do they keep writing it like that? Stop it.
I mean, something on top of that also bothered me with, like, this issue is just the way he talks to Tails. I'm like, come on. No, I don't like this.
Come on.
Oh yeah, he keeps treating him like a child.
No, just like even like the one line that I wrote down where he's like, "Wait until I get you outside, blabbermouth." I'm like, no.
What did he mean by that? No.
I don't. This is not how the relationship should be.
I just assumed. Damn, I don't know. I didn't make any assumptions. Actually, I didn't want to think about that. But now I'm making assumptions in my head. Sonic eats Teletubby custard on his chili dogs. Why is it pink? Why is it so pink? The chili should not be pink. That's either two things. It's Teletubby custard or it's raw meat.
I mean, he is a hedgehog. He can get away with it.
Are you sure?
No, but
No.
I'd rather
can't believe.
I'd rather not believe that it's Teletubby custard. So,
Well, just me then. I can't believe they killed Fly Freddy like that. He was the coolest character in this comic, and he's roboticized. And I can't believe, Bob, you didn't name him by name in your summary. The disrespect.
What was he called again?
And then there's Freddy. He's dead.
He's dead.
He's dead. He won't come back, by the way, guys. Sonic makes a mention. Is like, well, maybe we'll reassemble him.
you did.
I'm not gonna remember 200 issues in that he never gets reassembled. And apparently, Ian Flynn had an interview that's like, oh yeah, they tried, they couldn't, so he's just dead.
Oh,
So,
wait, like,
yeah, that's
he gave like a reason, like the characters tried.
yeah. There was he's like, oh, they after multiple attempts throughout the years, they just couldn't do it, and so he's dead.
That's so sad.
It's really
Ian
sad.
Flynn.
Sonic's an asshole.
Sad Ian Flynn moment right here.
I need to write a fanfic where they successfully revive Fly Freddy.
You know who could have brought him back? Dr. Wily. They should have asked him in the crossover.
That's right. Wily, we need one last thing from you before we snap your universe away. You must restore my good friend Fly Freddy.
What the fuck are you talking about?
who was betrayed by his best friend and fellow espionage companion, Sleuth Doggy Dog.
I would love to see a panel afterwards of just Wily giving a 1,000-yard stare of just like, what is happening? Why am I here? So,
oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to ask if we cover the other two regular Sonic comics before ending on the Sonic Live.
Yeah, I think that's fair. We don't have to do it in order. Yeah, for sure, because it doesn't matter. I will say one more thing about this, and that is the fact that it was lucky of Uncle Chuck to radio Knuckles, and the fact that Knuckles was at the radio. Sure was convenient. I don't know. I'm sorry. That's a weird thing that got stuck in my head. I'm like, Uncle Chuck be like, I use a radio frequency that's never used. And I'm like, well, damn, the stars aligned for you, Uncle Chuck.
I didn't really think about it until now, but I do feel like there's something kind of silly about that, or they just had this whole explanation. And like, I don't know, while I was reading, I thought like, oh, maybe Knuckles had like a change of heart and he just happened to help at the right moment. But then it was like, no. He only came because Uncle Chuck told him about the situation. Like, oh, okay.
It was an important lesson in communication. I understand now. See, Sonic came in, asshole, did not communicate anything, did not say anything. Horrible communication skill, we can all agree. Now Uncle Chuck be like, Listen, Knuckles, this is the situation. We need your help. Oh, of course, Uncle Chuck. I am a normal human. He's not a human. I am a normal civilized being. I will, of course, assist you now that you've explained to me the direness of the situation. As intellectual.
Oh, okay.
Chivalry is not dead. It's time for Knuckles' quest.
It's time for Knuckles' quest.
It happens.
I like the Sea Fox. I think it's great that they bring it back. All echidnas go to heaven. I forgot about that. I forgot, the way that they point out the, it's remember, Knuckles, when you died and went to heaven? And I was like, huh. I thought this does happen, but not yet. What? I completely misunderstood that situation, I guess. I forgot. So, yeah, I guess in that previous issue where Knuckles saw his ancestors, he died and went to heaven. And then it's terrible, but riding on the veins of what you said about Sonic, Knuckles be like, I'm about to beat this child. I've had enough of his bullshit. Just gonna Tails looks terrified.
I'm gonna beat Tails to a pulp.
He's like, I've had enough of your heresy. I'm about to beat you up, kid. I remember I mentioned that there was, because Harv, you were like, I have something that's going to be completely off kilter for this. I have that for this issue.
Oh boy.
This is going to be 100% me. Actually, I don't know anybody who's listening is who these three guys reminded me. I had a Jimmy Neutron brain blast reminded me of an old Soviet cartoon, which translates to the Bremen musicians. Is actually a book, an old book written by, I believe it's a German book, about three musicians who go out on a basically they go to a kingdom to perform, and one of the musicians falls in love with the princess, and they're all animals except for the one human. And I'm just I looked at this cat and I looked at this donkey, and all I could think of was these two guys. It'll be in the show notes, and this is absolutely 100% my brainworms, but very good cartoon. You don't even have to understand Russian. Most of it isn't even spoken. It's just a good cartoon, and I'll put the link of the cartoon on YouTube in the description as well. So that was my moment of, I was like, wait a minute, is that the Bremen musicians? Knuckles, this is my ninja way.
Horse.
The horse has a
Horsey
thing on his head. He looks like a Naruto headband.
Yeah, I had that thought.
Yes! I'm not the only one. Anyway, that was my rant. My bad.
It sounds good.
I'm done.
So, all good. Do you have any other thoughts? No.
I like Knuckles' quest. I thought this was fun. I didn't really have that initial oh, this is, the writing is weird and bad. I was just sort of besides the part where Tails is gonna get beat up, but everything else, I'm Knuckles sure is skeptical about everything, which, to be fair, understandable. For once, he's acting normal.
I mean, I'm just
gets whisked.
I'm just sick of the story of characters being thrown into a weird dimension and looking at things like, oh, what's happening? And it's happening too much. I can't take it anymore.
The mysticism is overwhelming.
I didn't care for this issue much.
I agree. All right, 43?
Yeah. So we're going to 43 and doing live later, if I'm correct.
Yeah. We'll just do live at the end.
Okay. So, with the help of Rotor, Donald Duck activates a device that would reverse King Acorn's condition, but all they can do is wait to see if it actually worked. Then a flashback occurs as King Acorn's dream sequence, in which King Acorn gets overthrown by... Okay, this guy's name is Julian, by the way.
Yes! Remember all the way back. I said it. Remember his name.
Ivo Julian Robotnik, question mark? Is...
That's right.
Whatever.
You got it.
Julian Ivo Robotnik, who turns Mobotropolis
It's
into
Julian Robotnik of the House of Ivo.
Oh.
Get it right, you plebeian.
Fuck off, Benders. What? Julian. His name's not Julian. Shut the fuck up. Anyway, He renames himself Robotnik and banishes King Acorn into the Zone of Silence. King Acorn in Part 2 continues his nightmare, in which Julian reveals his roboticizer invention and throws King Acorn into the porthole, into the Zone of Silence and flashback. And then he wakes up in the horrible nightmare screaming. Dr. Quack gets his Dreamwatcher machine and hooks Sonic up to it. Sonic meets King Acorn in his own dream world in the Zone of Silence in a flashback and proceeds to explain what happened to King Acorn, and also explains the ongoing war between the Freedom Fighters and Dr. Robotnik. Sonic returns to the real world as Acorn finally wakes up and the crystal disease stops spreading. Julian Robotnik.
Written by Ken Penders, art by Manny Gallen and Pat Spaz. Pat Spaz did all of the flashback scenes, which there were quite a lot of. Okay, I'm going to start off with this because I really like this. This is such a small thing, but it's like the little banner they have for the story, the Dream Zone. I really like how they did it. It's just really cool.
Okay, so when Sonic was a kid, he was hanging out with Robotnik, who was also a kid, but also Robotnik was a warlord back in the day.
He's not a kid. Wait, what?
Yeah, he was.
No, remember, like, really early on.
Okay, they did cover their bases, though, because even back then, they're like, maybe this happened, and maybe it didn't.
That's right.
I think
right.
now
they did
they're
cover their bases.
I think they're leaning towards that didn't happen.
I choose the way both happened.
I don't blame them.
Somehow.
In my canon, it all happened.
Everything is canon. Fleetway Sonic? Yeah, that's canon too. So, alright, I got... This is the issue. I had the big bombshell that just lingered with me while I read the rest of the comics.
Okay, wait. Before we get to it, though,
Okay,
can I actually talk about the content of the issue? Then?
Yes.
Okay. I like Doc Quack. I don't care. This is where I'm gonna be like, I'll defend this one. Doc Quack is good. I don't understand what your problem is with Doc Quack. He is written as a character. He actually has a different personality. Like, I feel like every time I'm reading Ken Penders' work, all the characters start blending together. Doc Quack didn't feel like that for the first time. I looked it over. I read it over. I was like, I must be crazy. I must be. I'm not. I'm trying to look at it unbiasedly. I still liked this character. I like Doc Quack, and you know what? I'm gonna defend. I liked this issue. I liked the backstories. I liked the like the whole like the even there's like it's like serious, but there's gags like the visual gag of the King Acorn talking to Robotnik, where he's just like, you've got to like start dismantling the military, and Robotnik's like, of course, and he's got his fingers crossed behind him. Such a stupid small gag, like these little things. I love the designs of the robots, of like the concept of like this takeover. You know, it has been the framing for this story since the beginning, and I think it was done well. I like this kind of like sped up like synopsis of here is how the takeover happened. I think it was done fine, and I liked that the writing it didn't feel like the usual Penders work, which is I agree with you guys. He's not good, but he has moments, and these are the moments I was talking about. I like this setup. I like the seeds that he plants here. Like, I like this plot, and I don't have like. If you guys have something against it, I'd love to like hear it, because I'm not like going to die on the hill if there's some good points, but like just reading it over again, I was like, I like the way that Doc Quack appears. He isn't just there for 2 seconds and disappears. he's like, he's got lines, he interacts with the other characters, and he does his job. Like, I don't know, he's snappy, he's witty, he's got some crankiness to him. He's got this giant goatee beard. I don't know, his design is cool. The character is cool. I like the interactions. He's got cool shades.
MegaFire, that's not a beard.
It is a beard.
That's his chest hair.
No, I thought that was like chest feathers.
That's chest
hair. Oh, you're right. He's got a giant chest feather thing. You're right. I had this.
He's got a giant hairy chest.
I wrote that in my notes, and I still said beard. God damn it. I like that Robotnik's chin gets bigger every panel. I like this story, except for where the back half after the the dream sequences. I was not a fan of the weird Sally St. John embrace. It was so forced, so stupid. There were so many good points in it, and then like just have these awkward moments within it, like that are just sprinkled between, and I'm like, I get it, but I choose not to focus on those. I choose to focus on the bigger picture and like the smaller details that are like done well. Also, the coin flip with tails on it was perfect gag. I love that. I don't know. I just think it's funny.
Can I talk about
that
thing? Okay.
Well, I don't know. Like, does anybody have any? Because I'd love to discuss this. I'm not. Again, I was like, I'm not dying on this hill, but I want to hear other people's thoughts.
I like how he keeps getting rounder every time Spads draws him.
It's true.
Yeah, I thought this one was okay.
I did enjoy this one until a point.
Fair enough, and I had that feeling too.
So
I want to hear Dorko's thoughts before you get on, because I'm excited to hear what you have to say. But I want to hear what Dorko.
All right, go ahead, Dorko.
I'll say like the only part I enjoyed was the flashback with Robotnik like taking over. I can understand how maybe you'd enjoy the other parts if you like Dr. Quack, but I don't like him.
What's your problem with Dr. Quack?
I don't know how to put it into words, except I think he's insufferable and very lame.
What? I mean, okay, I think he's forced, but like, he's a different character than everybody else. I don't dislike the fact that he's smug and like snappy, because it's like if they did Sonic without being like an asshole for no reason, because he's not an asshole. He's just snappy. I don't know, like it's smug, but without like he's at least doing his goddamn job and not like undermining everybody like Sonic. It's like if they wrote Sonic, but he was like not a shithead. I don't. Why is he insufferable to you? I'm number one Doc Quack defender.
Oh boy, I don't know if it's something I can put into words. It's like two people can look at a joke and one person thinks it's funny and the other person thinks it's really corny and lame.
I mean, I like the corniness. I don't think it's like cool. I just think it's corny, but in a good way. Like I think it's the cheesy.
I don't know. It's just the kind of cheesy corny that makes me cringe. I don't know.
Damn, it's kind of cringe that you're cringing right now.
I don't know how to go more in depth than that. I don't like him.
Fair enough. All right, MG. Let's hear your bombshell.
So there's a device used in this, right, that allows Sonic to go somewhat into King Acorn's mind, right?
Yeah, the dream zone. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it looks like this, correct?
It's a jawbreaker or a jelly bean machine or whatever.
Yeah, it's a gumball dispenser. Yeah.
No,
I like the name of this. Holy shit!
No, it's not. It is a 1-to-1 recreation of the Riddler's box from Batman Forever.
What?
How did you notice this?
Hold on, I'm aggressively. Whoa, you're right.
Why does Batman Forever keep showing up in these fucking comics?
Hold on, are you kidding me?
That's a good catch, actually.
And it does the same thing vaguely too.
Batman Forever came out a year ago.
What?
Batman Forever came out a year ago, like before this was published.
Yeah, remember we pointed out a couple issues ago in the Echidnaopolis or whatever the fuck it was called? They had the Batman Forever Batwing?
Yeah.
Someone really liked Batman Forever.
I can't believe this.
Let me give you a little synopsis. It's going to make it even better. In Batman Forever, this device is used to read the thoughts of the people watching it. They're projected directly into the Riddler's head.
So that makes sense. That's literally the plot. I mean, kind of.
Yeah.
I can't remember it. Can Penders write both of those stories? I think he just likes Batman Forever.
He likes the bat nipples.
Yeah, he really likes to be a man.
Good taste. I'm glad that Batman was flying into the nuclear holocaust of Robotropolis. Do you think he lived?
No, it was the Echidna place.
Oh, you're right. He's
Which
in the past.
we have established that Gotham City is on floating island.
It's true.
So I was thinking about this for like the entire time reading the rest of the comic. Because I saw that, I'm like, that fucking looks familiar. And I looked it up and I'm like, oh my god, no.
I'm just like so impressed that you actually recognize this thing.
I watched Batman Forever a lot when I was a kid.
Ah, that explains it.
I won't say it's a good movie. I will happily watch the other two Batman movies over it. But
Yeah.
I can't believe you caught that, dude.
that's why you brought me on.
I love that. Also, let's get cooking.
I'm
sorry, but I love it.
I also appreciate that they felt the need to put briefs on King Acorn.
You gotta be a superhero.
Yeah, so that's my bombshell I've been meaning to talk about, cause I went to bed thinking about this shit, man, and I'm just like, why this specifically?
I mean, it makes sense. They wanted to do this, and he was like, "Hey, it'll be a cool visual reference to Batman."
Who wrote?
Forever."
Which issue was the story of the echidnas in again? I don't remember.
I think it was our 6th episode. I don't remember. I think it's the 6th episode. Yeah, it's the 6th episode. 34. Episode
34?
Issue 34. Yep.
Let me take a look. See, I want to see.
Do that.
I want to know.
Mention the. Oh, good.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm just gonna mention. Remember the character Feast.
There it is.
The big panda god. It sucks. Anyway, just remember he exists.
Remember
Again, like I mentioned this from the beginning. I liked this issue, but the back half is definitely weaker. Set stuff up that's cool. Unfortunately, the setups are weak. The seeds get turn into good flowers. But I genuinely like the content of the beginning. Like, I do like the flashbacks. I do like the setup to the whole invasion stuff. I really like those robot designs. Spaz did fantastic. Anyway,
all right.
that's it.
So the only connection between those two is Ken Penders. So
he's the one that did, yeah.
Ken Penders loves Batman Forever, I guess.
I guess so.
Val Kilmer really spoke to him. Especially when he did that goofy-ass smile. Come on. There we go. Just for your context.
Smile. He looks so unamused.
He looks like a thumb. He looks like that muscle baby.
Alright, so I'm glad to announce we're going to do the All Goes Back to Sonic Batman Forever special.
Oh my god. At this point, I mean, I feel like the two universes are so connected.
So, going forward, I'm going to be fucking, like, laser focused. I'm like, is there going to be fucking Batman and Robin references?
There's references, I know that. I just don't know what they are, because...
No, I meant to the actual movie. Because if they went out of their way to, like, reference Batman Forever this much, Batman and Robin's got to be coming, right?
Right? Guys, right?
It's possible.
Anyway, yeah, I really like the flashback scenes. They were pretty cool. But fuck Dr. Quack.
Thank you.
What? You just said that on purpose. You don't feel that. You're lying. Bob, you got my back. You understand, right?
At issue 44.
All right, Doc Quack enjoyers, hit me up.
And I just liked how he was always DreamWorks facing.
It's true, he was. All right, issue 44. Before you
Issue
say
44.
anything, gun.
Yes. Yes.
That's the only note I have.
The prologue to Shadow the Hedgehog.
So, in issue 44, gun. Then, Anti-Sonic shows up in Knuckles' Chaos Emerald Chamber. This is the, I believe it's the same like Anti-Sonic. I don't remember what this guy is actually called, though. Can someone
I
help?
think it's just anti-Sonic, right?
It's anti-Sonic.
Anti-Sonic?
Yeah.
Okay.
Isn't it Evil Sonic?
Evil Sonic, yeah.
It's just Evil Sonic?
That
I
was
think so.
That was what they call him right now, yeah.
Okay. But also, he brought in Anti-Knuckles. The portal they came in on starts to close, however, so they end up leaving without getting the Chaos Emeralds that they came for. The Freedom Fighters pick up that something actually happened here, and they offer to help. Part 2. The gang takes a plane to the reverse zone where Anti-Sonic and Anti-Knuckles are, and a fight breaks out. Anti-Knuckles ceases fire, revealing that the reason that he even showed up was because he needed a replacement Chaos Emerald to prevent the end of his world, as his world is not a floating island, it's like an underwater city that's sustained by like a bubble force field. So everybody rides through the underwater tunnel to a city which resides in the dome. It is revealed that the base world Robotnik is behind everything, of course, and using the alt world as a site for raw materials, and is using it as a test site for his latest invention, the gun. A fight breaks out, and then Robotnik fires the gun at the Chaos Emerald being held by both Knuckleses. The laser appears to reflect back at Robotnik as it shoots him in the face, and it causes him to vanish. I don't think it's super clear. He just sort of explodes. There's not like a laser shooting back at him, looks like, but whatever. You know what happened. With him gone, the gang uses the Chaos Emeralds to prevent the city's air containment field from collapsing, and they save the day. The end.
Yep. It was okay. This story was alright.
It sucks.
I mean, I like the part where I just like the part where Robotnik shot the gun. I thought that looked cool.
Yeah.
I mean, it was alright.
I mean, it was alright. It was okay.
I don't know. I just don't really care for the Anti-Sonic Knuckles antics.
It
I think it's weird
sucks,
that they-
and I hate it every time it shows up. And I'm so confused because it's like the whole concept was like here's this universe where the good is evil and the evil's good, but Knuckles he's not really evil. He just has a hat and he's Scottish or Irish for some
He's
reason.
Scottish. He's Irish, I think, yeah. What the fuck?
It's so weird and boring. I think like the sunken island, like, you know, the opposite floating island being like a sunken island, that's kind of cute. It's kind of neat.
Yeah, I like Sunken Island and I like Robotnik with gun.
Yeah.
But other than that, yeah.
Robotnik with gun is good. I think it's cool that Robotnik appears finally in this world to abuse it. I think it's kind of funny, like, that Evil Sonic and Robotnik team up. I think that's neat. I like that, sort of. They kind of team up, but
kind of.
kind of, sort of.
It was really funny when I was reading it because I was like so confused of like, oh, everyone's just going together after that explanation, and Evil Sonic is just kind of along, and I'm like, well, why? Like,
He was waiting for this moment.
like, I feel like maybe there could have been a bit more context established or something. It'd be like, oh, hey, let's help him out. And I guess Evil Sonic, it's what's wrong with him being with us? Come on, buddy.
Everybody just forgets about him. He's very forgettable. Sorry, we're too distracted by Knuckles' cool hat and his Irish accent. We don't have Ireland in regular movies. It's only the evil reality.
Again, the fact that it's just Knuckles with a hat. It's like, what? It's like, of course, what more can I expect? But it's like, come on.
It's Knuckles the hat, dude. It's they gotta be like. I mean, shit. It's an upgrade from what they started, which is literally they're the same looking person. They're just. Well, like in the first time we see Evil Sonic, he didn't even have the coat or the shades or anything. He was just Sonic, like literally Sonic. I think he had a coat, but that's it. Like later on, I don't even remember shit. Like I said, he's forgettable. But like the fucking hat kills me because nothing else is different. Nothing else is different. And the worst part, I hate saying this every time, but god damn it, the worst part is that somehow it's not even Ken Pender's drawing. It's Manny Gallen, but why does everything look like some of the scenes look like it's Ken Pender's drawing? I'm like, dude, Manny, you've drawn this guy before. Why does it look so funky?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
I will say there was one scene that confused me, even though I've read this comic like 30 times, which was this. I'm glad you got that off your chest, by the way. Glad somebody else got a rant in. I thought it was a third Knuckles appearance.
You know what? I was confused, and I still don't understand it.
No, that's Nipples the enchilada.
I mean, yeah, obviously. But yeah, I figured it was just him moving to one place to the other. They just didn't draw it well.
Yeah.
Just make another panel, bro.
I still don't get it, man. I thought so. What you just said, I thought it was the same, but I'm like, no,
that's not
movement,
how you do
that's
that.
not movement at all. Yeah, I agree. All the fucking evil Sonic stuff does suck. Okay, I'm sorry. I said it was all right, but like, I was just thinking about the Robotnik with a gun mining the underwater sea thing. I was like, that's pretty cool. And also, I got distracted by Rotor with a gun. Like I said, my only note was gun. Like, I'm not kidding. I just wrote gun 2 times. I wrote gun because he appears with a gun in the beginning. I wrote gun because Robotnik is at the end with a gun.
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 Hey, can I ask what this comic's obsession is with trying to drown Tails?
Well, he's the only canonical Sonic character that swims.
That sounds kind of backwards.
Knuckles can
Shut up.
swim.
No, it's not. Remember, he uses fly. He uses fly to swim up, which none of the other characters have. He's the best swimmer canonically.
Okay, but
Knuckles is an alright swimmer.
it's still weird.
He's okay. He's middling.
It's still weird, and I've noticed it. It just keeps happening. I'm like, what? It reminds me of that Police Squad episode. That's just titled "The Writer's Secret Fetish." Oh, let me go get the image.
That image is not necessary.
No. It's fine. It's fine. I don't want to think about that. No. Hey, instead, let's listen to this great letter sent in by Jesse from.
I misquoted it. It's actually funnier in the show. There you go.
It's in the show. Barely disguised, but no. I refuse. I refuse to believe it. Nope. I didn't actually want to read this from Jesse. Sorry. I just think the little letters at the end are cute. I recommend, if you guys get to the end of the issues, just look for the little letters sent in by the kids. I think they're fun. It's nice. It's just pleasant. They're obviously there's like a data lag behind on like this was sent in, like most of the letters that are appearing here are like from the 39-ish era where there's like Mecha Madness and all that. People are just like, I like Mecha Madness a lot. I'm like, yeah, same. I like Mecha Madness. It's fun. I like when robots fight each other.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. That's why I like the Mega Man series.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't want to talk about what we have to talk about next.
Oh, before I forget, I did want to mention that the one kind of nice thing was just the one kind of nice thing was just the little bit of when it's once again talking about Knuckles and Sally and their relationship, I guess.
See, I was like not bringing that up because I was like, Dorko's gonna hate this. I've been protecting these like flashback scenes too much. I was like, I feel like it's kind of reaching, but I can't believe it. You're the one that brought it up. I like it. I do like that. I do like it. I do feel like it's kind of reaching. But go on. Sorry.
Well, I don't know. Like it's just something that actually kind of works. Like when they're literally just like how they actually have something to relate on with like. Oh, my father has big expectations for me, etc., etc. And then I'm just having this realization, like, yeah, so far, if you're gonna do the shipping thing, Knuckles makes so much more sense than the other the other jackasses.
Yeah, for real. But like, also, okay, I agree with you. I like that, but I like it also because they have been setting it up, or they've been setting something up, and like nobody quite took it anywhere. And I'm like, okay, this was good, because everybody's like, oh, it's like a will she won't she type deal, another romance thing. But then it's like, no, they're just like childhood friends, and it's not really a romance thing. It's
right.
like we're related. I'm like, that's actually kind of a big move for this time period, because every man and every girl and boy appearing in the media thing, if they are interacting with each other longer than 5 minutes, then they must be like into each other. And I'm like, Ken, that's big of you. I'm like, impressive. I kind of wish it wasn't just thrown into this one, but also it had to be in somewhere. And honestly, I feel like it would have been more appropriate during the Knuckles quest thing, because it would make sense of like, well, why did he do that? Like, it doesn't make any sense. No, it does. There was like hints. They did make hints, and I'm pretty sure it was like a conscientious like writer's room decision. But I like it. I think it was good. I just wish it wasn't in this one.
I guess, but I mean, it's like I kind of get what you mean, but also it's like one of the few things I enjoyed, so I don't know if I.
Yeah, it's the highlight of this. So unfortunately, yeah, you're right. I can't believe it though. I'm so glad. I'm so happy you brought it up. I'm like I'm not gonna talk about this. They're probably tired of me bringing up how much I like these flashback sequences.
It's really funny how that lined up. I mean, technically I did say like the Robotnik flashback. I did like that part at least. I don't hate all the flashbacks, just most of them.
Just the ones where Knuckles is talking to his abusive father. But this is I hope you understand, like, this is what I was talking about since like the beginning, where I'm like, I changed my mind. Ken Penders gets enough hate. He gets the right amount of hate. But I don't.
It's a perfect balance.
I don't think that he did.
As all things should be.
Everything bad. Like, I think there were high highs that.
Yeah, I think you should go on for like 20 minutes of defending him, and then we can talk about Sonic Live.
Anything to take.
Let's put that off as long as we can.
No,
all right. So this is where we're gonna watch Batman Forever, so we don't have to.
Everybody, sync up your times. No, we're going to Sonic Live.
Yeah, we're going to see Sonic. IRL is going to take us through the television and make us watch Batman Forever.
We do get the continuation of. Before you go into we do get the continuation of Knuckles' quest too, which is probably not. Yeah, it's okay. It was kind of. I like the story, but it also did follow 2 horrible stories. So let's go. Let's just get it done.
Okay, here's the issue of Sonic Live, excluding the 2 side stories after. Sonic confronts Robotnik in his castle, and he has Sally under control under some kind of brain device. And Sonic is blasted to smithereens and fucking dies. We are then treated to what I think is a really bad Photoshop job, depicting the real world. And 2 kids. We immediately cut back to Sonic stuck in some green void while Robotnik throws Sally in jail with Sonic's other friends. The 2 children playing their Sonic game return to the TV. Sonic is somehow able to see what's happening in the real world through the green void, and he pulls the 2 kids through the TV. Sonic fights some SWAT bots afterwards while the kids do nothing to help. The kids are dragged into a control room. Sonic pushes a random button to prevent a missile launch, and then the 3 are pulled into some strange glow. Okay, my notes for part 3 say that I was very tired when I read this portion, so all I can get out of this is that some multiverse bullshit happened to cause a bunch of Robo-Robotniks to try to take over. Sonic saves the real Robotnik from the fake Robotniks, and then without skipping a beat, very next panel, the real Robotnik orders the SWAT boss to kill Sonic. Sonic proceeds to use a control pad on the wall to enter a code that shuts them all down. And then everybody returns to their proper world. If anybody would like to sum that last part up better than I did, that would be great, because that's all I got, apparently.
No.
No?
I couldn't make any sense of it. I think the only thing I might have zoned out a little. The only thing you might have missed was the part where they're like, "Oh yeah, we worked on the games, and also it didn't come from our imaginations."
Yeah, I should have wrote down something about that. It just didn't make any fucking sense, so I skipped it.
It's just we had this fucking multiverse connection, so we based the games off these things that happened, and also we're not Japanese.
Yeah, my name is Jerry.
Good.
This might
There's
objectively
so
be the worst story we've read so far.
There's so much content. How can so much content have so little content? I don't know. That was the worst way to. How can so many pages of words and pictures amount to nothing? Please, dear listeners, read it. I don't know how to, like.
At least
It's
look
a
at the
huge
cover. The cover is really funny.
Look at the cover. Look at the cover and look at the page of the real kids, because I think it just looks really funny.
MG
So,
and I have just been link-leaking each other funny Robotnik faces.
If I remember correctly, these kids were Ken Pender's kids.
Like I think his son and niece.
Yeah. With some relation to Ken Pender's.
Yeah.
No way.
No, yeah. I think even the comic itself like has a section that mentions it.
I'll be honest.
you know-
I told the boys this before, but I said every time I reread this series, I got to Sonic Live and I would just kind of gloss over it. Like, I never read it as closely. So when Dorko pointed out the fact that, or Bob pointed out the fact that there's just like, these are the game makers, I was like, oh, I just thought they were like, I don't know, people from fucking Astro Boy. Because they look like Astro Boy characters.
No. Speed Rider.
Speed Racer.
No. Speed Rider.
What?
The
Did I miss
characters
another
the characters in the story say Speed Rider.
Yep, there we go. I glossed
And
over
they-
it again.
they
I can't
also-
believe it. I zoned out again.
They also mentioned Space Trek.
They are afraid of copyright at this point.
Yeah, right?
Don't let parents, sorry, jokes out of the room for a second. Don't let Sonic near your children. That's it. The games, don't let them play them.
He'll just pointlessly pull them into the Sonic dimension and get them almost killed multiple times for no apparent reason.
Yeah,
Bob, when you were like, and the kids do nothing now. I'm like, what do you expect children to do against freaking death robots?
Yeah, but if you're gonna put the kids in your story, give them the chance to like do something cool. But no, I don't think they
They
did.
just get kidnapped and put in peril, and Sonic has to save them.
Let me write this better. The
There
kids
is-
pick up a controller and they control all the robots and save the day.
Yeah.
Gamers.
There was like one like weak attempt at I guess justification where it's like Sonic's just like, "Oh, do you know the codes?" And the kid's like, "Yeah, I know the codes." But it's like, wait, you have like the game dev guys right over there.
The game devs, they don't know the code. They're only the writers. They're not the programmers.
They're not the gamers.
They're not the gamers. Holy shit.
It really doesn't make any sense, but whatever.
Yeah.
That's all we got for Sonic.
Yeah,
Live.
I don't know what
I
to
don't-
say about this one
Main
except
story.
bad.
I don't want to talk
Sad.
about it anymore.
All right, Bob, give us the just give us the synopsis on the next two stories.
Okay, I'll
Yeah,
do them
because
both
there
at
are
once.
other stories
I
in
lost-
Sonic Live, believe it or not.
This is a long
Lost
ass
my place in my
comic.
notes. Okay. Here's both the side stories. Rotor invents a micro belt cam. The Freedom Fighters get attacked by some SWAT bots, but they end up losing and get captured. A guy named Larry from Sonic issue 12, apparently.
A guy named Larry from Pumpkin Hill. They
Yeah.
got Larry. That's who it
They
is.
got him too. Oh no, he was our only lead. he shows up at their place and sees Robotnik through some camera because of the belt thing, whatever. Larry tells some guys who I believe were the subgroup of freedom fighters from an older issue. I forget their names.
Yeah.
He tells everybody they got captured, so they all go to Robotropolis. Some SWAT boss threatened to kill Larry. They did not got Larry, and are provoked to shoot, which causes them to just kill each other. I don't understand how it happened like that. They're just like shooting a perfect square, only killing each other, not Larry.
He has. Okay, I'll explain this really quick because if you don't remember, in 12, Larry Lynx is like super lucky. And so everything just works out for him. So that's why he was like, go ahead and shoot.
I think the idea was supposed to be he's unlucky, but then the people around him also get unlucky. I mean, it doesn't really make sense, but...
I don't know why, but every time I saw Larry in this, I kept thinking he was Bubsy Bobcat. I kept expecting him to go, what could possibly go wrong?
I mean, that phrase actually would be fitting for the character.
It would be, but he never says it. Thank God.
Well, yeah.
They stop the SWAT boss, and then the day is won. Then Larry's made the leader of the Substitute Legion of the Freedom Fighters. That's the first side story. What do y'all think?
Unfortunately, his bad luck kicks in, and the his squad is immediately disbanded.
No, that's good luck.
Larry finds Rotor's gun. That's what happens.
Oh no. I think like it was just a nice comic to read because of the art alone, where I was like, oh, this is like pleasant. I like looking at the pages, but I mean, writing wise, it's just pretty forgettable.
I don't hate this.
Which is great.
Unlike what I just read.
By the way, it was Art Mawhinney that did the art for this.
I was happy every time this session Mawhinney popped up again.
Mm-hmm. Mawhinney's art's great. It definitely is very like like Disney-esque. Animals is very good. Even like the way he does like his shading and like the colors are kind of like bubbly. I don't know if that makes any sense. I really like that style. It is nice to see the Substitute Freedom Fighters actually doing things that are like competent. Yeah, I mean, it's like they appeared in like Sally's stuff and they were kind of bad. Like not kind of, they were very bad. Like they just like the pig was just angry for no reason all the time. Well, kind of.
The pig was kind of a dick.
He was a dick. I mean, it was St. John. It was like a dick fest, dude. It was like St. John. It was him. It was like, oh god, it's all these men.
It was like
a
sausage fest, dude.
God, I hate men.
I hate them.
And then we get Knuckles Quest, which has some cool art.
Knuckles Quest 2. Knuckles searches the Great Forest and fights some monsters. He finds one of the people he saw in that space vision from earlier, who does not give him the location of the royal sword, but instead points him into the direction of the Land of the Dark. The end.
So, little, not fun fact. It's Kent Taylor did the writing for this one, not Ken Penders, and the art is Spaz. The whole thing is all of Spaz's pencils. So, he was the one that did this.
Yeah. Good job, Spaz. I like the way you draw monsters.
Knuckles is fighting a beholder. It's pretty sick, actually. Like,
excuse me,
he's fighting the Grim Reaper.
It's called a Devil Watcher.
Can we talk about that?
No. Yes.
No, okay.
Yeah, we can.
No more talking.
Oh, all right.
This is
See you next time.
Thanks for watching.
The music kicks in.
All right, Dorko, put it in. All right, stop. Hold on, we're not done yet.
But yeah, it was okay. The stuff that was in the writing was just, I don't know, exposition-y, I guess, but it was pretty cool to look at.
This is the most muscle-bound man I have ever seen in my life.
Man has so many freaking veins, dude.
He's got veins on his pecs.
This caveman's about to explode.
I just think it's great to see Knuckles fighting everything. He fights Corals. He fights the Beholder. He fights the Grim Reaper. It's like it's a Castlevania.
Like he fought a dragon in the Grim Reaper. This was a cool page. Yeah. I liked it.
So is Dracula in on this?
We just don't know. Maybe.
All right. What is it,
and at
echidna?
at the end, he meets Merlin. Yeah, the Merlin. You know the one.
Yeah, all the monsters were actually an illusion, I think. So he didn't actually fight.
But he hold
still
on,
look cool.
he fought them. They just weren't real.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
There was an epic fight. Yeah.
It was. I like this little plot. I mean, I know Dorko, you are 100% right. Who was his name? I think it was you, Dorko. The mysticism is just so crazy, but I do like this one because it's like I'm just a wizard, and it's not like the gods. Also, Knuckles does a good pose at on the last or second to last panel. I'm just gonna post that. Yeah, it's very good. I don't know. I like this pose.
Yes. Pointing without finger.
Pointing without finger, exactly.
Any other thoughts?
I do feel like this quest he's on is kind of silly.
Yeah, you have to. You're not finding a crown. You're finding a sword that will help you find the crown.
Yeah.
And he still doesn't find the sword. It's like, well, here's the place the sword might be.
Damn, dude.
Why do I get the feeling we're just writing this so Knuckles could get a sword for like one issue?
Yes.
They just wanted to do Sonic and the Black Knight early.
If only the rings they'd spent like 3 issues getting actually worked.
It is really weird how much they're doing these weird fantasy these medieval fantasy type deals, like the whole mysticism and all that. It's very weird that that's the direction they took Sonic in. I guess if you read the subtext to all of the Chaos Emerald, the Power Rings, the Special Zone, I guess I can see how somebody's creative branching could be well, it's got to be divine magics and all that weird. I can see it.
Oh, my mind just kind of simplified it. I just thought maybe the writers looked at the fact that there's Princess Sally and King Acorn, and then their mind just went into kings and knights and magic and whatnot.
Oh, yeah, I guess that's also fair.
Or a possibility, at least.
Was there anything like this in SatAM or Adventures of Sonic?
Well, I do remember that there's an evil wizard that's going to show up later, and he was in the cartoon. I couldn't tell you off the top of my head which he popped up in first, but...
Oh, yeah, that's right. I'm assuming it's the cartoon, because I think cartoon was almost done airing when this started.
He actually got name dropped in one of the comics we read, funnily enough.
Oh, Nagus?
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He's weird. He's something. I think he actually appears quite soon. Okay. Do we have any other thoughts on these comics? I feel
not really. I said my piece.
I feel like it was probably the most that I've liked in a while of rereading these. Can't remember.
Well, I don't know. Do you mean as the session as a whole, or just
the
thing
this
just
session as a
alive?
whole? Not live. No, I mean
Yeah, because alive.
No, I mean this session as a whole, this badge.
Okay, I only really liked what was the whole thing? Death Egg thing issues. Sonic Quest. I like Sonic Quest. Some of the stuff and everything else was okay. Not live, but I like the little Knuckles thing that we just went over.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it was overall it was but I don't know. I guess the good outweigh the bad. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I feel. Is the good outweighs
I'm just
the
thinking
bad.
loud at this point.
Sonic Live doesn't really connect anyways, so we're fine.
Yeah, it was just sort of there.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't even matter, man. The only reason you
That what happens. I will never.
Except for the fact that they put a Knuckles quest in it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's so weird.
Even the side story thing, the substitute, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So the conflict I have about that is just well, it's nice that they're using these characters they established, but unfortunately, I don't care about them. Maybe if they could write personalities for them, or I don't know. Right now, I just I could use not seeing them ever again personally.
Don't worry. When those kids team up with Cal and Al, everything's gonna come full circle.
So true, best name.
Yeah.
Keep talking about Cal now.
They're gonna team up and fight the Riddler.
Yep. The Riddler is now canon. I
Maybe
did not even know.
Maybe next time we'll see him.
I think that's everything. I think we are... Anybody have any last thoughts before I give us the next episode preview?
My last thought is that this episode is almost 2 hours long.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah,
I feel like
it
was too much fun to yell at my friends.
Yeah, I think we went over a lot this time. So, yeah, I guess it's time to wrap up.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got no additional thoughts. My head empty.
Brain empty.
It's time to stop. Please.
Next batch we're reading is gonna be Sonic Blast 100%. Where that's a special. And then Knuckles the Echidna mini-series. Three issues long. It's called Knuckles and the Dark Legion. So we get those 4 for sure. And then probably Sonic 45 and 46, but I have to double check because if the stories in those intertwine too closely with the next special, which is the Super Sonic Special 1. Not to be confused with the rest of the specials that we read. These are a whole new line of specials. And we might not do 45 and 46. It might be a short one. But yeah, Sonic Blast, Knuckles miniseries, 3 issues, The Dark Legion. We get into some Knuckles-centric stories kind of relating to his past. I have no idea. I can't remember how those were, so I'm hoping that they're okay.
It's not even I hope they're good. It's just I hope they're okay.
I mean, that's the best I can hope for at this point.
Believe.
The Dark Legion is... You know what? I'm not... The beginning is... No, alright, I'm not going to say anything else. I'm not... Yeah, we'll those are four for sure. Thank you for joining us for this 2-hour special. We did cover 2 huge, like a special mini-series and 3 regular comics and another special on top, so... I try not to book that many, but they were all related to each other, so...
Yeah.
It's been a busy week.
Yeah, so stay tuned for our Batman Forever special now, I guess.
Yeah, the Batman Forever watch-along.
We'll do that after Turok.
And remember, everybody...
You know what? We'll do the same episode. How about that? The Batman Forever Turok episode.
Batman, Turok... Can't believe it. It all goes back to Sonic.
It all goes back to Sonic.
My cat's waiting for me to follow up for like an hour.
It all goes... Your cat's going back to Sonic too.
Yes, we're almost done, Benny.
All right, good night, everybody. Goodbye.
Good night. I gotta see my cat now. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.